Well, with me right now is Juanita Skillman, the board president of United. Good to see you.
Good morning.
And we have on the screen the map of the building captains, where they're located, right?
Correct.
And you have been talking about this for quite a while. Of course, Andre Torn
Did a really good job of
yeah, he
recruiting,
did.
but there's still not enough. If you look, this is just the bottom part of United.
Right.
And you can see there are whole neighborhood sections where there is nobody.
Yes.
And so we really need people still to volunteer to be a building captain. It's such an easy job. There's
Yeah.
nothing, it's just knowing your neighbors, and if should happen to be a disaster, reporting to
Right.
captains, the different clubhouses of what's going on. So I'm a clubhouse captain for Clubhouse 4. So
Oh, okay.
people bring me all
The
the information from the various areas north of El Toro in United. 'Cause we
Okay,
have
so
that small place. So
as far as people signing up for this and what they need to do, I think that's probably
The
some kind of a
dis-
concern. Well, what am I going to
the
have to do?
disaster
And-
preparedness room downstairs
Yes.
in this building, they have all the forms, and they'll give you
Okay.
a wonderful booklet that tells you all of your responsibilities and how to do it, and also have the sign-up sheet so that we
Okay.
can get your
And this
your
is the-
name and your cul-de-sac
This is the
onto-
top portion, or
to
more
the
of the
map.
middle portion
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
map. And you
So-
can still see areas very clearly that
Right.
do not have captains.
kind of blank. There's
Yeah.
no
Okay.
colors. So
All right.
anyway, still looking for those.
All right, so very important.
Okay, well, we had our board meeting on Tuesday, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
very interesting board meeting, but I'm so proud. We were out by 12 o'clock and going
Yes.
into our
Yes.
closed session, which lasted till 5. But still, it wasn't a marathon like they had
Yeah.
had the week before with GRF. And basically, what happened is we had that meeting on the 17th of October.
Right.
And we had that specifically because there were a lot of things that we wanted to introduce, because there weren't 30 days between November and December's meeting.
Right.
And if we had not had that meeting, it would have gone into January, because everything has to go out for 30-day review. And I'd like to comment a little bit on that, because people don't seem to really understand what we mean by that. This is a state law. This is Davis-Sterling. This is required that we give an opportunity for residents to weigh in on anything that we do. So nothing is ever done shooting from the hip behind closed doors. Everything is always
Okay.
out there. And I'll be announcing today what's going to be on the December meeting. And any residents that have any insight, concerns, suggestions, whatever, they've got 30 days to, and in this case 45 days, to get in touch with us. And they can do that by phone, they can do it by letter, they can do it by email.
Okay.
All those different things to try to get us what their feelings are. So we did the usual consent calendar, and we had 4 alterations that were approved and 1 alteration that was denied. We had 3 tree removals that the landscape committee denied, and then we had 1 lien from our finance committee for a member who is not paying their assessments. So because we had done that there, we didn't have unfinished or new business. We had 1 new business that I'll mention in just a minute that we
Okay.
added to the agenda at the end. So the big thing is the future agenda items, and we want everybody to know that at our December meeting, we will be taking these up for final vote. So if you have interest in any of these items, now's the time to let us
Okay.
know. We're going to approve the new fee schedule for manor alterations. Alterations Committee has worked very hard with staff to try to get these equitable, because we're losing money like crazy on some of the staff time and things that are being done. So they got this all worked out. How many hours, what did it take, how many places did it have to go, how many people had to touch it, that kind of thing. And so we will be voting on that at our December
Very good.
meeting.
Now, let's talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
the 30 days.
Uh-huh.
And I think where the confusion comes in is sometimes you will talk about a new resolution, whatever it may be, under maybe new business, and you will vote on it, but you still have to turn around and go, well, there's 30
Right.
days, and then after those 30 days, you vote on it again, correct?
Right. Well, what we do, and I know it is a little confusing, and lately I've really tried to make it a little bit easier to understand. The first reading, we have to present it, and then we have to vote, will we put this on our agenda to vote? Now, sometimes it's quashed there, and they say, no, we don't want to even put it on our agenda. So it doesn't go to 30-day. But everything has to have a first reading, and that's under new business.
Right.
And then we get the 30-day or whatever
Right.
the calendar tells us, and then it goes to final vote under old business.
Right.
So when you look at our agendas, and those are online, everybody can look and see what we're going to be doing. If it's under new business, it's probably not going to be it's not going to be a final vote at that
Right.
meeting. It's going to be a first reading of this is what we are proposing.
Right.
And that's when we really need input from our residents. Another one that is up to approve is the requirement for a conformance deposit for manor alterations. And I know Janie's been on and talked about these kinds of things. Basically, what we feel is we need a deposit from workers, contractors that are coming in to make sure that they don't damage any of United's property. It can be landscaping, it can be putting things in our bins. There's a whole bunch of different things that
Right.
can be done. And so with a conformance deposit, instead of having to chase after them after the work is done and they're long gone, we've got it right up front and
Right.
we can deduct it.
Okay.
And if they don't do anything wrong, if everything's fine, they get that deposit back. Another resolution was the policy for handling and destruction of recordings. And I think I mentioned before when we brought this up the first time that we are now recording, not video recording, I mean, we do the board meetings and all that way, but
Right.
every committee is recorded. And this just helps our secretary, our recording secretary, when they go back to make sure that they haven't missed anything. Our meetings are lots of people talking, lots of people going back and forth, and sometimes it's confusing.
Okay.
So being able to have these recordings is important, but the thing is, we don't keep them for any length of time. The retention on these is very short. They are destroyed as soon as the minutes or committee report is approved by the committee at the next one. Then we get rid of the recordings from the one before. Then we had the revisions to our standard windows and window attachments. As I think I've mentioned before, we're trying really hard in alterations to have some sort of standard so that they don't have to go through the full variance project. If we have a standard and they meet that standard, they can get the permit right away, and it just shortens things down. And then we have the amended financial qualifications policy, and basically that deals primarily with guarantors and how many they can do and that kind of thing. It does not change the amount of income or asset that is required for to buy a share and a right to live in United. So then we got to the fun part. As I'm sure you're all aware, at a week ago Tuesday's meeting, GRF passed a motion to sign a contract to actually build the pickleball court. Now, our board is not so much that they're opposing the pickleball court, but we had a lot of problems with the way it was done, which we didn't feel conformed to the bylaws of GRF. They negotiated a term down. It was supposed to be anything over 500,000 comes to corporate members, and they negotiated something down to 499.95 or something like that. Right. And they only gave one bidder the opportunity to do that, the low bidder originally. So especially since there was only about $50,000 difference between the two bids, we felt that it needed more study. and we felt that the corporate members should have a say. This is just construction. It did not include any of the development plans, architectural drawings, and there's no contingency in there for change orders. Now,
Right.
I've never seen a construction project that didn't run into something
Right.
that needed a change order, and that's going to push it up over the 500,000. So all we are saying is corporate members should be advised, corporate members should have some input. And so we adjourned to our closed session where our legal counsel explained a lot of it to us because, quite frankly, United was the one that brought the original lawsuit to change the bylaws to put this in. And we voted to take it back to open. We reopened our open session that afternoon and voted to request a corporate members meeting of GRF. Now, the mutuals can't call the meeting. GRF calls the meeting. And so what we do is we request GRF to call the meeting, and they have 10 days to 90 days to call that meeting.
Okay.
And I know yesterday at their meeting, Third did the same thing. They followed along. And so there is going to be a corporate members meeting the first part of December when we will look at this. It's not fun, but it sure beats going into legalities as we did before.
Okay.
And we aren't going to do that. And then last but not least, as you mentioned,
Yes.
we have the Transportation Awareness Day over at Clubhouse 5. I'm a bus buddy, and I'll be there registering people. And we hope everybody will come out. It's not going to be just the buses, our bus
right.
system. There's a whole bunch of vendors on all kinds of different kinds of transportation, taxi vouchers, Uber's going to be there.
Yeah, all kinds of different places.
Things to the airport if you need transportation. There's many
OCTA.
different ways. OCTA is going to be there. So anyway, if you need to get around, it's a good place to go. And we're going to have some refreshments and just a lot of information. So I hope people will come out to it. It starts at 10
Yes,
this
if you're
morning.
watching us in the morning. If you're watching us
Yes.
in the afternoon,
Sorry,
it's
over.
just about over. And if you're watching us in the evening, well, you have next year.
But I'm sure Becky will come on and give some good reports about what happened
Yeah.
and how it was done. So
Yeah, and I think we're going to go over there and get a couple interviews or
great.
so.
Okay, very good. So that's what's happening in United.
All right, thank you for coming on. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I hope you all do too.
All right, and we will see you next time.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. I have a cold, so
Oh,
I don't want to
don't
shake
touch
your
me.
hand. Don't want to get you sick before Thanksgiving.
All right, very
All right,
good.
bye-bye. I'll just go like that.